Giants, Carolina, Cleveland. You have to say it now. I know they were one of the model franchises in football for a very long time. They've been run poorly for 10 years now, the Giants.
How do you let Saquon Barkley go?
Doesn't look very good right now.
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic medical finger that can be used clinically to check your pulse, perform examinations, and even check for abnormalities under the skin. This robotic finger can even type like a human hand, spelling out words.
Goosebumps.
The goal? An intelligent, dexterous hand attached to a sensorized, artificial, pneumatic, muscle-driven robotic arm, mimicking the unparalleled functions and fine manipulations currently only possible with actual human hands. Follow me at G. Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
When the weather cools off, Major League Baseball playoffs heat up. Sit tight. The World Series is coming. Keep it here for every bit of the action with strategies and information to give you the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
All right, here we go. Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have everybody with us on the grid. 844-843-6879 is the number. Here on a Wednesday night, as we said, a lot to do. Big football show. Really big, of course. NFL Week 10. Coming right at us on Thursday night in Baltimore. We've got the first Crack Crab and Lobster Committee college football playoff rankings. We got tons of big games this week. There's even some live NBA tonight, and why not? We're looking for some threes in some of these games. So we're going to try to get some three balls going throughout the NBA with a pretty big slate. So a lot to do. Mike Carver with you, along with Must Be Wednesday, the encyclopedia of college football, the one, the only. Go for the two, Joe Lisi. Hi, Joe.
What's up, tough guy? It's been a while. I missed you. Look at you. You look like you got the billy club under the bar. You're ready to bash somebody, huh?
You say that every Wednesday because by the time Wednesday rolls around,
you got a little scruff going. You got the high and tight. You look like you're bouncing at 86th Street there for a second. You look like you're bouncing at Arts. You know who you look like? Not in a bad way. Don't take this the bad way, okay? I don't want you to get mad, all right? Remember the Hall of Famer for the Colts, Art Donovan? Remember him? He was a funny guy. You resemble him a little bit. Now, you're a lot younger, and I don't know if Art is still with us, but I'm just saying. That type of personality, that's why I love you. I love you more than anything. I missed you. I needed you in my life. I needed you. Did I take you into college football on Saturday?
I believe we tied. I believe we had the same record, which is
you,
actually a good thing because it's
gutless effort.
because it's nice.
Yeah.
It would be not. It's nice weeks where both of us are over 500 because it's good for the people. Let's get things moving. It's nice when we're both over 500.
I think I was 4-3, Carver. I think I was 4-3.
We were both 4-3. We were both 4-3 on
I'm
Saturday.
back to 500, by the way.
And that might be the first week. Oh, no, we've had 2 of the last 3 weeks. We've both been over 500. So we're picking things up as we hit November here and coming down the stretch of the regular season. And I want to do a lot tonight, Joe, because it's obviously the first time I've talked to you since the crack crab and lobster rankings came out last night. And as I didn't really do much of it last night because we had a joke here on Carver and Lisi. Obviously, you're the encyclopedia of college football. I had George with me who dubbed himself the leaflet of college football. So you're the encyclopedia. You're the encyclopedia, the full book, all the volumes. Right. And George, the leaflet, barely a flyer.
So he doesn't talk any CFB.
No. So we had a segment last night where George had something going on. He had to take a phone call, and I kind of gave a little breakdown of it. But I didn't really get to dive in like I'm going to with you. So we're going to do that. We've got all the NFL, and I'm in for some threes tonight, Joe. This is actually the first night I'm going to say that I actually looked at the NBA board and decided I'm gonna start shooting for the stars here. With some
good luck and God bless.
I got Bridges for the Knicks. We've got this Pritchard for the Celtics. I got some RJ Barrett later tonight. So we've got some threes that we're going to try to knock down throughout the NBA. But yes, Joe, since you want the update, both of us 4-3 in the college and in the NFL. You had 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, and 2-2. You were 2-2 in the NFL last week.
All right, not bad. I think I'm 500 on the year still.
I was 2-2 in the NFL also. So we were even in both the college and the pro.
Yeah, but I'm 500 in both. I'm 500 on both, I believe.
You're 18-18 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And you are 37-37 in the college. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm 4 games over in the college, and I'm 1 game under in the NFL.
Yeah. All right,
so,
there you go. Take it for what it's worth. It's all right.
Take it for what it's worth. But this is, as you always like to say, this is now where the rubber meets the road, right?
Of course.
We've turned the calendar, and we're going to start to move on to some bigger and better things here this season.
I love the slate this weekend in college football. So
do you? Well, I saw you. But you do this every week. You were talking up the slate this week. This is such a great slate. You got big games. You got and let me tell you something. You want to know why you have big games this week? You want to know why?
Here we go.
In the past, I'm going to give you a little. I'm going to give you a little something here. You bellyached about how the 12-team playoff was going to render the regular season meaningless. That is what you said to me. Meaningless is what it would render the regular season. I got news for you. That is not at all what is happening this week, because in the past, if Alabama and LSU were playing each other, each with 2 losses early in November, you can make a case, Joe, that this game would mean 0, because neither would probably be in the mix for the 4-team college football playoff with 2 losses. Now, the winner of this game on Saturday night is going to be in good shape, Joe, to potentially get into a 12-team playoff.
You feel good about yourself that you're building it up like that.
This is one of many over the next 4 weeks. Almost, you could say, and I think you'd agree with me, a de facto playoff game between Alabama and LSU, because the loser with 3 losses is going to be chopped in this thing. Chopped.
You know what I call it? An SEC eliminator.
It's a good one.
What do you think about
it? It is an SEC eliminator.
An SEC eliminator. That's it.
And it wouldn't be if we didn't have a 12-team playoff. It would not be.
So, all right, I'm slowly coming around. Sometimes when you're right, I can't give you credit right off the
love
get.
it because, and I know, and we're about to get in this, I know that when you see stuff like this, and these are not going to be the matchups in the next 4 weeks, but let's just say they were. Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, Alabama, The Boise being spunky in Columbus against the Buckeyes. I could see you making a case. Out of nowhere, Indiana going to Neyland to play the Vols. Like, you would be jacked up about those 4 games that weekend for a playoff scenario. So I know now that we're closer, you can admit it. It's a good idea. You can admit it now. It's a good idea.
You might slightly have me involved. I'll just say that. Yeah, let me just throw a curveball, not to put dampen anything about this game on Saturday night. But there's Hurricane Rafael that's coming through the Gulf of Mexico.
What's the deal with that?
Nobody knows. Supposedly, it's going to make landfall on Sunday, Monday. I'm hearing 40 mile-an-hour winds. That puts a lot of pressure on LSU here. I'm just saying. So we got to monitor. I don't even know if they play the game if it's going to hit on Sunday, right? Saturday night, if it was a day game, maybe. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this hurricane.
When is it supposed to hit?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Well, they don't have like a legitimate. They don't. It's in making its way to Cuba, I believe now. So I don't know how
we're gonna have to get. Have to get some of the Doppler guys up here.
It's a category 3 right now. It's a category 3, makes landfall over Cuba about 4 hours ago.
Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're just getting going on a Wednesday night. We're back on the grid right after this.
Coming. Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. Call right now before it's too late. That's 800-959-6348.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
The game is an atrocity. It's just so horrible. Carolina and the Giants, like, who cares about these 2 losers hooking up in Germany? Seriously, I'm going to play basketball. I'm not going to sit down and watch that. I'm going to go ball, and that's all there is to it. I'm not watching it. It's a terrible game.
It's Pharrell, Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the Sports Grid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer. You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159, with you here on the grid. So, Joe, these nights are always hard for me on Wednesdays because, as we say every week, like, I've got so many things that I have to get to with you, and I just feel like I never have enough time to be able to get to all of them. But let's stay with this college football playoff stuff for a moment. Now, every year we wait for these guys, this crew, to put out these rankings. It's obviously a lot different this year with the 12 instead of the 4, but the song remains the same. This is not going to look anything like it does right now 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, when we get to the finish line after the conference championship games. In fact, Joe, I kind of did this quickly last night. There are teams that you can get right now to make the college football playoff with some pretty decent plus money that are on the outside looking in that are going to have opportunities to absolutely be there. And let me bring it up for you really fast. Now, SMU and Texas A&M are the first two teams out. But I actually, Joe, think there's teams behind them that have a better chance to make it in. Such as
Clemson?
On. Well, now what's Clemson's path to get back in that title game? They're going to need...
They got one loss in the conference.
But you have two undefeateds, right? Is it SMU still undefeated? SMU's undefeated in the conference, right? Has SMU lost the conference game?
Correct.
So
no,
they need SMU to lose. But if I remember correctly, Joe, SMU doesn't exactly have a schedule where they might be losing.
Need SMU or Miami to lose.
I got to tell you, Joe, I don't think Miami's losing a game. Because, and I'm sure, I know last year with the Georgia Tech, and it was a disgrace and an embarrassment that they lost that game. Like, I'm not going to say they're going to cover these last three games because they're not great at that, but they score so much, Joe, that I just don't see how Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, or Syracuse in the next 3 weeks is going to be able to keep up with them. They would have to put up a Herculean defensive effort to hold Miami to like under 30, which I'm not sure is possible with the way that Ward's playing right now. So that's why, Joe, I kind of think that Miami's going to get across the line here in the ACC. Now, the better question for you, I need to bring up the SMU schedule here, Joe. Who do they have left this year? 1 second. I have it. Boston, they're off this week, by the way. Home Boston College, at Virginia,
right?
Home Cal. Who's beating them?
Is Cal home?
That game's at SMU in Dallas, yeah.
I mean, Cal's...
Their only road game is Virginia.
Virginia's spunky. I mean, they're not great, but they're not,
I just... And it's so bizarre. And I remember talking to you in the summer when we were doing all this stuff. And I said, I don't think SMU's a great team, but they really caught some breaks with this first schedule that they got in the first year. Because they had no Miami, no Clemson, and they got lucky that Florida State ended up being an absolutely horrible team.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to thump them. And they went on the road and won at Louisville, which was a tough win for them. And Pitt ended up being good, but they thrashed them at home. They didn't get Clemson or Miami in the regular season.
Is rock solid. They held Pitt to like 3.5 yards per carry. They are rock solid in the front seven. So, I mean, let's look at these odds. I mean,
now they have SMU. They have right now at plus 130 to make the playoff. Now, I'll ask you this. This is the scenario that I was thinking about.
Okay.
They have the ACC with one team right now, right? Mm-hmm. Miami. That's all in their poll this week, in their 12 this week. SMU and Miami are both undefeated in the ACC title game. Okay? They play a great game. Miami beats SMU by 3 points. Will the committee take one-loss SMU, played a close game against Miami, or will they take one of the fourth Big Ten team that's going to have one loss and not play in the championship game, either Penn State or Indiana? That's going to be the problem.
If Indiana gets blown out by Ohio State, they would take SMU in that situation. If Indiana loses a one-score game to Ohio State, I think they might take Indiana because the Big Ten they value as being a stronger conference.
Because if you think they're going to get 4 teams, right? Because that's what they have right now, and everybody has said that all year. 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten. The conferences are too good. Who's the 4th team if it's not Indiana at this point? Like it's Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. No one's jumping up to take that 4th slot. So either they're going to go to only 3, either they're only going to get 3, or a 1-loss Indiana or 1-loss Penn State.
What happens with the SEC? We have Tennessee with 1 loss in the conference, right? We have Georgia with now I'm confused. Georgia
has
Alabama.
Yeah.
They have 1 loss.
1 loss.
Texas has 1 loss. A&M has 1 loss.
What does Tennessee have? 2 or 1? 2, right?
In conference. In conference, they have 1.
Right. Yeah, but and they didn't lose the game out of conference, so
right.
1 second here, Joe. SEC.
They have, I just told you, A&M, Texas, Tennessee.
Yeah, they're 7-1.
And Georgia. Those are the 4 teams with 1 loss. And then you got Alabama and LSU with 2 losses.
Well, I think that Texas A&M game is going to end up being
an eliminator.
a possible eliminator as well. Because Texas won't make the SEC title game if they lose that game. They're not going to make it. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Time to coil up that garden hose. Hose here. And SportsGrid has you covered with strategies and info on football, baseball, and everything else. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channel dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
We'll show you what local fans think of Browns owner Art Modell, who could be called public enemy number 1.
In a shocking move in 1995, Art Modell officially announces the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore.
It hurts. The guys ripped my heart out.
This has been a very, very tough road for my family and for me, and leave my heart, a good part of my heart and soul there.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
Even without Hutch, they're winning without their best defensive player. Everyone else has stepped up. Everyone keeps saying they need to do a deal. I'm not sure they need it. They're going to be playing playoff games at Ford Field. They're not going to have to go to Lambeau in January elements. It's going to be their house, their way, because they're the best team in the NFC.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right before your very eyes,
The boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, and we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159, here with you. Yeah, so Joe, there's, like we said, the SEC is absolutely getting 4. The which 4 is going to be the question. I think are you thinking the only stone cold lock is Georgia? Because like they got Texas at minus 1250.
Yeah, but wait a second. The only stone cold lock is Georgia. They play Ole Miss this week. Not easy. They play Tennessee in 2 weeks. So
you're right. And like, let's say they lost one of those games. That's 2 losses.
Right.
Let's say they lost potentially the SEC title game.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Call it Texas, in a rematch. And that would be 3 losses. They'd probably.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this. Forget the conference champions for a second. Let's take a 1-loss ACC team, right? That has 1 loss. You listening?
Yeah.
A 1-loss Big Ten team like Indiana, okay? And a 2-loss either the Blue Bloods, Texas, Georgia, Bama, or LSU.
Are you framing this as like a 5th SEC team? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm asking you, 12th slot.
I think
you got the group of 5 champion, right?
I think in the scenario that
Dame with 1 loss.
Notre Dame's going to get in with 1 loss. Notre Dame's already in. They're telling you now Notre Dame's in. Like, I don't think they would drop Notre Dame back unless they lost the game. And if they lose a game, they're not making it anyway. They've lost to Northern Illinois. If they go 11-1,
right,
they're going to be in. And they should. Florida State, Virginia, USC, Army, they should win these 4 games. And
then let me
they'll
ask
be
you
11-1.
Yeah. Okay. LSU or Bama, right? They both have 2 losses. This is an elimination game. You got LSU at plus 220. We got Bama at minus 140. So the book is telling you they believe Bama's going to win, right? But if LSU wins, that 220, they got an easier road the rest of the way, don't they, than Georgia?
Well, yes, they do have an easier road the rest of the way. I'm just
saying, let's look at it like in big picture, right? They got LSU at 15. They beat number 11 Alabama. Most likely, they're going to be in the area of, let's give them 12. They'll probably bump up over Boise State, right? Depending upon what happens, Georgia and Ole Miss is dead and buried if they lose. Georgia's back in. They got 1 loss. Texas still plays A&M, and Texas still plays somebody else. That's tough. They play Arkansas.
They almost make it out that if Texas lost the A&M game and didn't play in the SEC title game and were 10-2, they're still going to put them in. That's what the odds are kind of telling me, is that Texas is going to get in if they lose it. And I don't. And
what do we do? Do we try and do a Big 12?
I don't think they're going to lose to Texas A&M. I don't.
Well, then
I think
you
Texas
want to take a shot on an Army at 10-1?
Well, that would require Boise losing.
That would require them beating Notre Dame.
Yeah, but they would still need Boise to lose. They're only putting 1 of those G5 teams in. They're not putting 2. They would put 3-loss SEC teams in over a second group of 5.
But Carver, if Army's undefeated.
Well, then you're arguing undefeated Army over 1-loss Boise is your argument.
Right. Yeah.
They're not going to take them over anybody else. There's no shot.
If they beat Notre Dame, they would.
No, they won't. It's Boise or it's Army, and for that slot, there's no.
But I'm saying
they're not going to take Army over 1 loss, even undefeated and beating Notre Dame.
I know that. I'm talking about for the group of 5. Boise State with 1 loss, Army undefeated with a top 10 battle over Notre Dame.
That's a different story. I think that's you could make a case there back
it's
and
worth
forth.
10-1 then. No.
It might be if you think they could beat Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium. That's kind of what it comes down to.
What are you going to get on the money line? They're going to be 20-point dogs. You think you're going to get 10-1?
Probably not. I mean, probably not that high. So
probably 880, 720 in that area.
Maybe. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We're back on the grid right after this.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in. Life is good.
SportsGrid makes it better.
Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic medical finger that can be used clinically to check your pulse, perform examinations, and even check for abnormalities under the skin. This robotic finger can even type like a human hand, spelling out words.
Goosebumps.
The goal? An intelligent, dexterous hand attached to a sensorized, artificial, pneumatic, muscle-driven robotic arm, mimicking the unparalleled functions and fine manipulations currently only possible with actual human hands. Follow me at G Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. That's 800-365-6303.
Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, and we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159. Good to have you with us on a Wednesday night on the grid. Carver and Lisi. Joe is here. Hitper Bell's back as well after his big birthday weekend, getting involved. And, man, he is going to start running away and hiding in the NFC South with the Falcons. Boy. Running away and hiding in that division without changing cons. What? Run away and hide. That's what you're going to be doing.
I'm cheering on top of the mountain. I'm singing on top of the mountain to the Saints, to the Panthers, to the Bucks.
It would
She's
be
a
honestly.
Runaway.
And I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to jinx anything. This is just fact. I'd say this if you weren't here and you weren't a big Falcon fan. At this point, it would be a disgrace if the Falcons didn't win the NFC South. They've got a two-plus game lead. They've beaten the Bucks twice. There's absolutely no reason why they should not. They should have that division wrapped up by early December, to be quite honest with you. Should be over.
Like honestly, they gave it to you on a silver platter, like by default. Like you have one gutless head coach in Dennis Allen, another one in Dave Canales, and a has-been quarterback in Bryce Young.
Joe's already out on Canales. It took 8 games. Joe's thrown Canales overboard. All he did was talk this guy up all summer. This got great offensive mind, going to change things in Carolina. Joe's already thrown him overboard, this poor guy Canales.
And you got two of the top wide receivers, not just in the division, but in the NFC, Godwin and Evans, that are out for the last 3 weeks. I mean, what do you want? They gave it to you on a silver platter. It's, I got the golden chicken. I got the golden chicken. Burp, Charlie. It's the only way. I mean, really, what more do you want? Your gutless team doesn't step up now. Seriously, burn the shirt, burn the jersey, burn all the stuff that you got. I'm serious. And here's the other thing, too. Hang on one second. He's a West Coast guy, isn't he? How did he become an Atlanta Falcon fan? I would love to hear this one.
Childhood. That's why.
What,
It's the Super Bowl, baby. When I was a kid, when I was a kid,
Dirty
yeah,
Birds.
there was no team in LA, baby. We had the Denver Broncos, Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl, and I jumped on board right there and then. I'm loyal, Joe. I'm loyal.
Eugene Robinson.
So I've been
Robinson
riding with the Dirty Birds for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, you got lucky in '98 with Randall. I mean, that team was fantastic. I mean,
that's when I jumped on board, Joe. That's when I jumped on board.
Falcons robbed us of what would have been probably a really good Super Bowl with the Vikings and the Broncos. That probably would have been a really good game.
Jake
and
Reed,
the Falcons robbed
Randy
us of that.
Moss, Chris Carter. I mean, come on. I mean, the Leroy Horde was on that team. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Who does what do they got this week? They're in New Orleans to take on another. As they chop. How about that, Joe?
No.
Trap game.
Trap game is right. I played against
Trap
Darren Rizzi in high school. He's a blue-collar guy. He's a New
I
Jersey
knew you were
guy.
going to say this. I watched him the other day at the introduction.
Name dropping.
Yeah.
It was the typical interim head coach talking point press conference. Yeah. We're going to play with passion. We're going to play with this. And that connects so many dots that you played with this guy. Because he seems like
this guy.
And this is nothing bad against you, but it seems like cut from the same cloth as you, this guy Rizzi. He gets up there, he's fucking passionate. We're gonna be the fans should be pissed off. I'm pissed off. This guy's up there throwing. He's got a lot of passion. Now these are the guys that rallied a team to a bunch of unnecessary wins and blow a draft pick, and they end up keeping them on the job, and then they go 6-11 the next year, and then they realize why the hell we hired this guy. Yes, the same thing. Same thing.
We eat iron and we crap steel, and we're blowing it for the organization.
We're going to be entertaining. We're going to be entertaining, he said.
This kid's 54 years old. He's got a heart of a lion. Let me tell you. Special teams guru. They used to call
this guy up so much. This is going to be so painful the rest of the year.
They used to call him Hero.
Hey, Hero. Because you know this guy Rizzi.
Heart of a lion.
They go from being, on your scale, they had the most gutless head coach in the league. He gets chopped. They put this guy in, and now you're going to be back at the Saints this week against the Falcons and going forward. You'll be back. Trap game. They get the bump from firing the coach. Everything. You're going to be all over New Orleans. Is it a best bet? Might as well tell us now. 5 Diamond crypto play?
Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Not yet. Not yet. You know who he is? I got to think now. I have to see the movies. Hang on. You know who Darren Rizzi is? Heart of a Lion. What's the one that I'm looking for here? Hang on. I'll tell you. Hang on. Where is it? Oh, Bloodsport. Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Chong Lee. That's it. Van Damme. Bloodsport. That's who Darren Rizzi is. Heart of a Lion, a champion. He's gonna go in there and crunch, chopped. That
is wild. We could just kind of putting a bow on the other thing. See, me and Joe, just so everyone knows, we could probably sit here the entire 2 hours and talk about college football playoff scenarios. Like, me and Joe could do that the whole entire time, each team, schedule. We could do that if we wanted to, but I think we have too many other things that we have to work into the program as well.
On the NFL. Who else can we put into the scenario? Let me ask you this crazy situation. Any shot Vanderbilt at 40-1 with 2 losses?
South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee. If they won all 3 of those games, they would be 9-3. You got to remember, Joe, they've got a loss outside of conference, too.
I understand.
I mean, they lost to Georgia State.
Beat Alabama. Went toe-to-toe with Texas.
I know, but they lost to Georgia State.
Tennessee, LSU, and South Carolina down the stretch.
You know what's wild? They lost in 2 overtimes to Missouri. And they lost a 3-point game to Texas. The Georgia State's gonna kill them. You think about it, Joe. If they would have somehow won that game and then did the scenario you're talking about, and we're 10-2 with win over Alabama, and obviously, listen, are they going to beat LSU and Tennessee the last 2 weeks?
Not.
Probably not. So I think this is a
they
moot
get
point.
kicked in the chops this weekend by
Don't
South
waste your-
Carolina, but that's me.
Man, you're a Beamer guy now, huh? Beamer ball. Here we go. Beamer ball back in the SEC. Let's go.
Why? Crunch. They read it. Rocket Sanders, Lenoris Sellers. They rushed for 6 or 7 yards a carry on that gutless Mike Elko defense. What's the matter? Mike Elko not making second half adjustments in Williams-Brice, huh? Deer in the headlights. Didn't know what to do. Marcel Reed, Connor Wigman, he was playing rope-a-dope, huh? Could only do it against LSU, it seems like. Gutless effort.
Very
Gig 'em, Aggie. Gig 'em. They'll be 8-4 before you know it. Same thing. Fall from grace. Just wore off from Mike Elko, huh?
They're 7-2. They're not losing to New Mexico State. You're going to lose at Auburn? You think they're going to lose at Auburn? Nah.
That's a rivalry game. Like, they play each other very tough no matter how good or bad.
Auburn is pathetic.
Sucks.
They might be. They are pathetic. They're pathetic.
Hugh Freeze doesn't know his ass from his elbow. I said it.
They're awful. They're awful.
He's another one.
Let's
He's
come back.
To coach it up.
Let's come back quickly. Obviously, Friday we'll do the picks, but I want to just glance through a bunch of these huge games this week with you. We'll do that till the end of this hour, and then in the second hour, we'll start the NFL. We have a lot to discuss there. Joe, we got a game on Thursday night with a 53.5 total. I mean, are you kidding me? Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We're back after this.
Yeah, it's getting cooler. Football weather is here. Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime, on the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channel dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
We'll show you what local fans think of Browns owner Art Modell, who could be called public enemy number 1.
In a shocking move in 1995, Art Modell officially announces the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore.
It hurts. The guys ripped my heart out.
This has been a very, very tough road for my family and for me, and leave my heart, a good part of my heart and soul there.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
No way football is played in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, SiriusXM 159. Here with you on the grid. All right, Joe, as I'm wow, ESPN with a commercial for I believe this is the place where I got married, Joe. They're showing a commercial. I didn't know they had commercials on ESPN. How about that? out on Long Island. Good for them. Probably the local feed of it. Do you have anything on the Maction tonight? I forgot to
No, I'm
tell you.
watching. I'm watching. I've been inundated with a lot of stuff going on with the NFL and the college. I've been breaking down games for the college weekend. It's a big weekend because I really feel like there's an opportunity.
Did you put the picks up yet on the site? Did you get the picks up on the site?
Yeah, I did. I did that today. I was a little late.
Okay.
Little late.
You're a little late.
I'm
It's
dealing
okay.
with a
It's
pinched
all right.
nerve. Dealing with a pinched nerve in my neck, driving me nuts. Going numb to my fingers, Carver. I went
no
to the
good at
gym
all.
though. Still push some iron today. Still push some iron. Driving me nuts.
Let me rip through a few things with you here for this weekend in college, and then obviously we'll go more in depth on Friday and make the picks. I'll start with Miami because they're playing at noon on Saturday against Georgia Tech. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. Was last year the game where Mario didn't take the knee and he ran the ball and they knocked the ball out of his hand and Georgia Tech ended up going down and winning the game? Was that last year?
Yeah, that was
Did that
it.
happen?
They were 5-0, and Haynes King. Now Haynes King might be a game time decision. The extra week because they're coming out of a bye week. We don't know, and the ACC is not the SEC. So you got to keep an eye out because the ACC, they pulled a fast one in the Virginia Tech game last week. I don't know if you saw that.
They sure did. I did see that. They did pull
Now,
a fast one. I hate this.
I was on the over, but I love that over, and I altered it down, but I didn't know that Drones and Tootin were out because nobody told us till the game started.
It's frustrating. It really is, and it sucks. And we're betting on this stuff, and you have no idea who's playing in the game until 5 minutes before, which is nonsense. They have it at Miami -11 right now. Georgia Tech is a team that's at 11 now. I've got 11 in front of me. This is a team that's given Miami problems, Joe.
Yes,
in the past few years.
Yep.
Now I think, and this total's incredible, 63.5.
Yeah. You know what I'm doing?
For this game.
I love this game. I love the under 63.5, and I like G Tech with the points. Because again, I know Miami's the superior team, but this is the point in the season where also bowl eligibility matters for some of these teams that have no shot to make the college football playoff. And for Georgia Tech and Brent Key, that matters, right? So you're going to get their best effort. They're playing at home. It's a game that they won last year on the last play. So from a matchup perspective, they match up well with Miami. Now, the one X factor is Cam Ward. It's just so tough. They score, to your point, on almost every drive, right?
They score so much.
Yeah. So the only game that they struggled from an offensive perspective was against Cal, and you could blame that on the West Coast trip where they started
and they
out,
still scored 40 points. And they still scored 40 in the second half.
I know.
So it's like
so how do you neutralize that? I mean, Georgia Tech can run the football. It's similar to week 1 against Florida State. That type of game, right? Run it, sustain drives, get it into the 20s where you could cover and you have a shot. So I'll take a shot under. Under's my best play, but I like Georgia Tech with the points.
Hard for me to go after I went after Miami last week, and I was so mad.
That's why you're tired. You're tired.
And that's
now, I've been good with Miami.
Absolutely gutless.
I've been good with Miami.
28-17 lead in the third quarter, and they didn't cover 20.5 with a 28-17 lead, and they didn't cover 20.5.
Now, can I tell you something? I've been good. Miami, I bet them against Louisville. They cover as a 4.5-point favorite. I backed it up again against Florida State. They dominate. And then last week, obviously, was the third time where you couldn't back them. So keep an eye out for that.
No. Georgia into Oxford against Ole Miss. This is a 3:30 East kick. Georgia -2.5. I got to tell you, Joe, I'll say this about Georgia here. They play without question the toughest schedule in the country this year as far as I'm concerned. This is they have gone to Alabama. They've gone to Texas. Now they're going to Ole Miss. They still play Tennessee, albeit finally at home. They get one of these tough games. They played Clemson the first week of the season. But just talking SEC, I mean, that's 3 very tough road trips they gave them here in this first year of this kind of new schedule structure and no East and West. And they got a chance to go 2-1 in that if they can win Saturday at Oxford. I think they're going to win. What about you?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth. The line is very intriguing, but I go back to last year where Carson Beck had a day and they could not do anything in the interior. Now, I will say Ole Miss, one of the best rush defenses in all of college football, but have they gotten that much better in year number one? They were able to push around Arkansas. I was very impressed with that, and it's going to come down to Jackson Dart. This is an attention-getter game. Give me Georgia. I know it's on the road. It's Georgia or bust for me. 2.5, Carver, coming off a rivalry game. They'll probably smash them. You got to win by a field goal, right? The only thing why it's not a best bet for me, I don't like Carson Beck. 6 interceptions the last 2 games. I don't like
Carson Beck either.
Three against Texas, 3 last week against a good. Is Florida's defense elite? They're getting better, but they're not elite.
Now, I wouldn't mind. I would love to root for Ole Miss here because I wouldn't mind seeing Georgia lose again. You know me. I'll always root against Georgia at the top. Indiana's laying 2 tutties against Michigan. You have gone after Cignetti and the Hoosiers all year long.
Twice. Just twice.
It's been more than twice. Every week you've been challenging these guys. I think you're done with that, and you realize now that they are going to score at will, and there's no way that Michigan's going to be able to keep up with them, and they'll be undefeated going into that Ohio State game in a couple of weeks.
I want to answer that.
Okay, when we come back with that. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
The boys of summer become the champions of fall. The World Series is on its way. And SportsGrid brings you every angle. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. That's 800-823-3851.
Carver and Lisi.
And you mentioned, George, run poorly. How many constitute the run poorly aspect? Raiders,
Giants.
Carolina, Cleveland. You have to say it now. I know they were one of the model franchises in football for a very long time. They've been run poorly for 10 years now, the Giants.
How do you let Saquon Barkley go?
Doesn't look very good right now.
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Get sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day,
7 days a week. Everything you need to get the winning edge.
right here.
All the time.
No wonder the wife says you never listen to her.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're getting ready. We're looking at some of these college games for this week. We'll do some NFL in hour two. Joe, you wanted to say something. I said Indiana minus 14 against Michigan and Bloomington this week. And you have gone after Cignetti and this team a little bit this year. I don't think you thought the run was real. I think you know that it's real now, and it's all going to come up to a couple weeks from now when they go to Columbus, because they're going to smash Michigan on Saturday. Smash them.
I don't believe they are. Michigan has won. Yeah, I keep saying it. All right, they've won 3 straight in the series, and I know different teams. Okay, all right. They have won 27 of the last 28 games.
Doesn't matter.
The only game they lost was back in 2020 with Michael Penix. They are laying 2 touchdowns. This is not Nebraska. This is not, look, they dominated last week, Oregon against Michigan. That is a much different team than Indiana, and Kirk Cignetti doing a great job. It's in Bloomington, all well and good. This game is going to be a blue-collar, ugly type of game. Curtis Rourke is not going to throw all over the yard like he's, shooting fish in a barrel. I am telling you this right now. Indiana is on upset alert this weekend in Bloomington. You could tell all your friends when you go on Coast to Coast tomorrow and you talk to Pharrell and talk to all the boosters, and you can have all the burner accounts that you and, everybody likes to do. You could tweet me, Lisi, you suck. This, that, the other thing. We're going to kick you in the stones. Guess what? I'm taking Michigan. Not you, me. Listen, look at my lips. Michigan. I'm taking the Wolverines.
You're doing it again. You are barking up the wrong tree with this Cignetti.
You know what? I'm stubborn.
You really are.
Every now and then, I like to force the square peg into the round hole. Okay?
I will ladder this. Minus 24, minus 27. I will alt this up, and away. This is Smash City again for Indiana. Again. Okay. Joe, they have gotten over the total by themselves almost every week. They'll do it again this week in the 40s.
They have a bye week coming up, and all they can think about is Ohio State, right? Don't be caught napping. I'm telling you this right now. Michigan. They're going to wear the yellow pant on the road. Yellow pant with white jerseys.
This coach is not Tom Allen. This coach is not what's been there in the past for Indiana. This guy's different. This team's different. This quarterback's different. They are going to drop the hammer on Michigan.
Drop the hammer
in Bloomington on Sunday.
Hit me with an anvil. What else you got?
What else can I give you here?
Colorado, Tech?
Now that is a big game, Joe. After that huge effort by Tech to beat Iowa State last week, and this Big 12. There's a lot cooking here, Joe, and there's huge games this week. The Colorado-Texas Tech game. Iowa State needs to win at Arrowhead against Kansas after losing last week. You've got this holy war late night, which is massive for BYU now that they see themselves propped up in a bye right now on the Crack Crab and Lobster Committee. This is a huge week in the Big 12.
Yeah, now I will say this game, Colorado-Texas Tech. Tech is spunky at home. And this game is going to be a pinball machine. Make no mistake about it. Tech's pass secondary, the secondary sucks. But what they could do is they could run it with Taj Brooks. And that's the biggest factor. Colorado, up until this point, very good, or a lot better than what they were in run support. Tech is going to run it. They're going to try and run it right down their throats with Taj Brooks. If Colorado doesn't tackle or is not up to the task on the road, it could be a long day. I know Travis Hunter's licking his chops. This game will probably be in the 50s or 60s, but I'm going to take the points with Tech. Joey Maguire's been good to me. He's covered the last 2 games. He should have won against TCU with the kid getting hurt, Morton, and then they gave way to Hammond. This defense isn't bad. And guess what, Carver? They knock off Colorado. They are then right there with Kansas State as the number 3 team in the conference to potentially make a college football, the Big 12 championship. Because if BYU loses to Utah, then one game separates everybody.
And look, they finish with Oklahoma State and West Virginia, like that. They have got a chance if they win this week to maybe play for that title. They're going to need some help. They need Iowa State to lose another game. They need some other things, but It's very possible for them. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in. Life is good. SportsGrid makes it better. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic medical finger that can be used clinically to check your pulse, perform examinations, and even check for abnormalities under the skin. This robotic finger can even type like a human hand, spelling out words.
Goosebumps.
The goal? An intelligent, dexterous hand attached to a sensorized, artificial, pneumatic, muscle-driven robotic arm, mimicking the unparalleled functions and fine manipulations currently only possible with actual human hands. Follow me at G Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Football full circle.
Alvin Kamara is not the same running back. Chris Olave hasn't lived up to expectations. But now you have an aging defense. Demario Davis is in his 30s. Honey Badger Mathau, he's in his 30s. From an NFL cap perspective, I think they're the highest, right? They're completely in disarray. You have to clean shop. It's a major rebuild any way you look at it.
It's football full circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
You're listening to Where Real Winners Go for actionable insights and expert perspectives on daily sporting events.
7 days a week.
It's not a secret or anything.
I mean, we have a promotion budget for Pete's sake.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
All right, here we go. Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us on the grid. A lot to do this hour. We'll do a lot of NFL, as we haven't touched on really any of that yet as we get ready for Week 10. We've hit double digits on the NFL side, and we have a couple of other things to do as well. You got anything for the golf, actually, Joe? They got the Worldwide Technology down in Mexico teeing off in the morning. This is your type of tournament, too. There is a lot of Lisi guys.
It doesn't look like big numbers. Is it big money? Let me see here.
It's big money. Mike Carver with you in the Encyclopedia of College Football, the one, the only. Go for the two, Joe Lisi. Your guys are all here. I mean, look at this. You got JoJo Highsmith.
It's Skins is 250.
I played Skins for top 20. I played Skins.
How about Garrett? Skins. Hello, he go 220 to 1.
How about Ryan Palmer, Addicted to Love? Ryan Addicted to Love Palmer,
guy.
400 to 1.
I already like this guy. You ready?
Yeah.
Carly Wan.
Yeah, Carl Wan. Yeah. He's
400 to 1. He's been playing good lately. No?
Lately's tough. He had a little stretch back earlier this year where he was in the mix a little bit. But
I mean, I feel like Carly Boy gives us a shot, no?
David Skins. And you got the big rig back, too, Harry Higgs. He's playing. What's Higgs' number?
Big rig?
270 to 1 for Big Rig Higgs to get involved.
Big Rig.
So you got some. This is one of your tournaments. There's a lot. Big Bo Hostler is at the chalk at the top, 25 to 1 among the favorites. So Matty Schmid, Harry English. Harry, that was
is he from
Keith,
the neighborhood, Matty?
That was Keith Stewart's pick on Coast to Coast this week. Harry English at 30 to 1. So you got some of your guys here. He didn't win. Well, they tee off tomorrow. That was Keith's pick
last
today,
week
or yesterday.
You said. Oh, it was today's pick. I thought.
Yeah, for this tournament. That was his. He picked Harry English for this week's tournament. That was his pick for this week's tournament.
Harry's English, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, he's involved. So we shall see. Okay. Joe, should be fun. All right, is there any? We'll do the rest of the college on Friday because we have a bunch of games we didn't even hit. Like we said, that Big 12's important. Penn State, we didn't really get into, but man, they are gutless. That's the last thing. I'll end college with this. You know that this guy never gets it done in a big spot. I know it was a few days ago, but me and you haven't talked about this. I'm tired of hearing about Franklin, and he'll make it this year. I can't believe they had him as high as they did, the Crack, Crab, and Lobster Committee, even after that loss. This guy's gutless. Now, they're going to prop him up so that they're going to play that playoff game at home because they're not going to lose one of these last couple games. I mean, they're playing.
You don't think so?
Stiff.
Why? They can't lose to Washington?
They're not losing to Washington. Come on, Joe. That's a bully spot for Franklin on Saturday night. He's going to bully Washington. Washington stinks, Joe. That is a bully spot for Franklin. He's going to hammer them. And he's got who's he got after that? Nobody good. He doesn't play anybody good at the rest of the season. Got no big time games. These are Franklin cookie jar games. He's got. He's gonna be 11-1.
Yeah.
He could be 11-1. He's not even gonna have to play in a Big Ten title game, and they're gonna give him a home game in the college football playoff. Sick. And you know what? I hope here's what they better do for me. I'm telling you guys now, and I know you listen. A couple of those suits in that Crack, Crab, and Lobster Committee room, Joe. I'm telling you now. If you're going to actually reward Penn State with a home game in that first round of the playoff, they better have an SEC team coming to them. They better. I want someone going. It better be Boise or anybody else. I want to see, Tennessee. I want to see one of these SEC teams go in there because any of them will beat Penn State at their place. Any of them. We'll go in there and beat
You're
them.
absolutely right. Penn State's pathetic. I mean, come on. The only team that they beat with, any type of cachet is USC. And look at how bad that gutless team is in regards to that.
That's not a good win anymore. That's not a good win anymore, beating USC.
They lost 5 games. Washington just beat them. So I agree with you.
Stink.
I will say this. Here's the thing, Penn State fans. Stop telling me that you have a 5-star quarterback. You had one with Christian Hackenberg. He sucked. Drew Aller, the world. He could go to any program. Let him go. Okay, the problem with Penn State, and I'll keep saying this, Carver, your best quarterback is who? Over the last 20 years. Zach Mills, Darryl Clark, Michael Robinson. Who? Christian Hackenberg? Where's the marquee quarterback that supposedly Bill O'Brien and all these great head coaches at Penn State outside of Paterno had? James Franklin. They can't get a quarterback. I mean, at Vanderbilt, at least he had Jordan Rodgers. The guy stepped up. You got gutless quarterback. Drew Aller, guy throws for less than 50% in all the 3 biggest games last year. Guy can't even throw for 200 yards on Saturday against Ohio State. Can we stop? The problem with Penn State is you're always a good program. You're never elite. When you were walking around with, leather helmets and cement trying to win games 6-3 back in the day against Alabama and those teams, yeah, great. You could do that. Not anymore. You need to score 28 points in a game. I'm tired of this.
I'm tired of them, period.
5-star quarterback. We bring in Cole Nicky. Oh, what an offensive guru. Yursich. They're like a deer in the headlights. They shake like this. Look, I got to call a pass play? Terrible.
Amazing.
Wake up.
Listen, I've been
God.
Yeah.
Trace McSorley.
I've been done with them
probably-
for a long.
probably
I've been hammering the guy for a long time, Joe. So you know you're not going to get a disagreement from me. I've been hammering this guy forever.
Trace McSorley. The best team they had was 10-2 and lost to USC in the Rose Bowl, and that was the year they beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, and they were deserving to go to the playoff that year with Saquon Barkley in that group. Other than that, they suck.
They lost to Sam Darnold, right? USC. That was the USC Sam Darnold team, wasn't it? Sam Darnold, USC against Saquon Barkley, Penn State.
49 with Clay Helton.
Clay Helton. And let me tell you, this is now because there's only a minute left. I'm not going to start NFL. I woke up Sunday morning, and the amount of tweets that you had just going after the USC program, Lincoln Riley, you must have had a boatload of tickets on USC on Saturday night. You must have had like 10 bets keyed in with USC as the last leg, and they did you so wrong.
I have a story for you.
It was one after another, just torching Lincoln Riley and USC.
So I have a story for you. When we come back, I have a story for you.
All right. Okay.
You're going to like this story.
You were hot Saturday. I mean, you took to social media to voice your displeasure about some of these coaches and some of these programs.
If I could find Will Ferrell on Twitter, I would have went, hey, Snoop, you wearing your jersey around Los Angeles now? The USC jersey? I went after Lendale. Lendale White was on my side. I got involved. Lendale White was calling out Lincoln Riley as gutless. Where Reggie Bush and Leinart were crickets with the both of them. They didn't want to ruin their gig on the big noon kickoff.
Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159. We're back after this.
Ball is here. And SportsGrid has you covered with strategies and info on football, baseball, and everything else. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The early line.
This Saints organization needs to completely overhaul everybody. Mickey Loomis, see ya. Thanks for your years of service. Dennis Allen, we don't care if you've been here for a decade. Get looking for a new job. The Saints need to completely rebuild, Donnie. It is gone now in the Big Easy.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us.
800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. 800-959-6348. Call right now before it's too late. That's 800-959-6348.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer. You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Good to have everybody with us here. Golden State up 5 at Boston here, Joe. Good, couple good hoop games going on tonight in the NBA. Now, I haven't seen Joe get involved since he had that double dog diamond opening night board bound play that he put in. I haven't seen him sound the alarm with any more NBA plays since then. Have you? Or have you just been too focused on football?
I put out
Joe?
on the early line Siakam tonight, 25 plus. Pascal Siakam for 25 plus at plus 210. Did that come in?
I don't have anything on Siakam. Let me take a look here for you, Joe. I do have all the box scores up in front of me. Siakam's got 17. And they're up 111-102. Gutless. You're not getting that one, Joe. Finished. That's over.
That's it. So let me tell you the story quickly about
Tell me the
USC.
story.
So I was having a great Saturday, okay? I had Air Force. I had, what was the early game? I got to think now. Air Force, Minnesota, okay? And I had Michigan as the third leg, okay? When Michigan got inside the red zone and got stopped, they were still giving me 85% of the cash out. So I took the cash out, right, because I didn't trust Michigan, how gutless they were. And thankfully, they tacked a late one in. So what did I do at night? I had three things tied up. I had Texas Tech, I had Louisville, I had the over 45.5 Tennessee, and I had USC money line. Now, as this is going on, and I had a couple others that won early with USC as the bottom leg, money line and -1.5. When USC is down, okay, 20-7, they're giving me the cash out for a couple of $100, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do that, okay? They take the lead 21-20. The FanDuel cuts off the cash outs the whole second half. Locked out. So now what I do is I double down. They had a -182 money line on Washington. I wait. It gets back to 113. I take Washington for, a certain amount on the money line. They, instead of kicking a touchdown, kick a field goal. I lift the leg. I cash out of it with about 8 minutes left, hoping that USC could then show some heart. And right, they get down to the 8-yard line. This gutless Miller Moss, this team, he couldn't wait, right? Making fun of LSU the first game, right? You know who he looks like, Miller Moss? He looks like the replacements quarterback. Remember Keanu Reeves? Not him.
Shane
the
Falco.
Starter, not Falco.
Shane Falco.
The starter. Remember the starter where they lifted score up? That arrogant SOB, that's who Miller Moss. They should have smashed him in that game. And gutless Lincoln Riley, he is Clay Helton 2.0. They're 4-5. His team has no heart. All they want to do is make TikToks. And you know what? It serves them right for making fun of LSU. I hope they lose the rest of the way. All Lincoln Riley does is coach teams down to the ground. Where's Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush? Players that had heart. Call out your program. You're gutless. USC is absolutely atrocious. No heart. None. Be thankful. Be thankful you're playing football. Nobody's begging you. Wrap up and tackle.
I knew you were upset with all those tweets, just going after him, all coming right over the top.
Going on third base. He was handed the program by Bob Stoops.
You,
never won a big game in a college football playoff appearance either. Never. He was gutless.
You talk about getting no return on your investment. USC getting no return on the investment in Lincoln Riley so far. I mean,
tell me
zero.
What that pay. Had the best quarterback in college football, couldn't win a Pac-12 title, couldn't even win a bowl game against Tulane. I mean, what are we talking about here, right? It took how many teams to the college football playoff? Gutless. And you know what? The only game he covered as head coach was against Alabama because Kyler Murray willed himself into the back door that game. They were down 28-0 in the first half. Gutless. You know it and I know it.
I'm not going to disagree with you on the gutless level of Lincoln Riley. There's just no chance that I would be able to do that.
But here's the thing. Where's the Reggie Bushes and the Matt Leinerts? Lendale White was calling him out. Glorified quarterback
Lendale
coach.
White's not, Leinart and Bush are
He's a national champion. Well, Lendale White. He was the Thunder and Lightning with Reggie Bush. What are you talking about?
Nobody cares about what Lendale White has to say.
Oh,
Nobody cares.
Give Reggie he got the trophy
Leinart
back.
and Bush are up there on the dais there at the big noon kickoff. Those are the guys that have the power. It's those guys.
I'll go toe-to-toe with them. Anything they want to talk about college football. They're getting paid $6 and $7 and $10 million, just like Lincoln Riley. Okay? Call out your program for showing no heart. Please.
I knew you were upset. All right, let's come back and get into some of this stuff for the NFL this week. We have some very good games. Obviously, Ravens. We got to do the SGP, right? We got to do Ravens and Bengals. We got to get the SGP together. It should be a fun one considering the total's 53.5. We should get some points
Do it at the bottom
here.
of the hour. Let's do it at the bottom of the hour. We can't do it in 6 minutes, can we?
No, we'll do it at 30. We'll do it at the 30 number. We'll do it at the long segment there. So we've got that. We've got our last international game. God, imagine going to Germany to watch the Giants and the Panthers. That's just not feasible for anyone. And I think a big game, Joe, for Jaden Daniels against really the best pass rush he's going to see all year with T.J. Watt and Highsmith and the crew and the Steelers coming into season. So we got a lot of NFL to do as well. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
We'll show you what local fans think of Browns owner Art Modell, who could be called public enemy number 1.
In a shocking move in 1995, Art Modell officially announces the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore.
It hurts. The guys ripped my heart out.
This has been a very, very tough road for my family and for me, and leave my heart, a good part of my heart and soul there.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The early line.
This Saints organization needs to completely overhaul everybody. Mickey Loomis, see ya. Thanks for your years of service. Dennis Allen, we don't care if you've been here for a decade. Get looking for a new job. The Saints need to completely rebuild, Donnie. It is gone now in the Big Easy.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer. You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us here on the grid. All right, Joe. So we have Bengals and Ravens. We'll do the SGP after the break. Very quickly, let's do the fastest. What does Berman do during halftime of the fastest 2 minutes? Well, we're going to do the fastest 4 minutes here from this past weekend. Number one. Joey Silk, 5 touchdown passes against the Raiders. Nice effort by him, and he was all mad after the game. No, don't keep. And they get the win. The Giants crushed me with it. I mean, honestly, what does this guy do in 2 weeks in a row going for these 2-point conversions? He's got like the worst 2-point conversions.
He's a clown.
He is a clown.
Dable.
And the Commanders beat the Giants.
It's amazing that he ever won anything with the Bills in Alabama.
Can you believe that Sirianni's another one with the charts and graphs? Like, they had that game. They were sailing away against the Jaguars. And he starts screwing around with 2-point conversions and 4th downs and all. And then suddenly, like a span of 2 plays, they were back in the game, and they actually had to sweat all the way to the finish. Like they're what are they, 6-2 now? I think, Joe. I think the Eagles are but man, it's always something that even though they're 6-2, it's like every week there's something else to be upset about if you're an Eagle fan.
And isn't A.J. Brown a little bit banged up this week?
Yes, he was limited today.
Yeah, limited today. So that's a problem. Here's the thing. 2 things. The fumble with Saquon hurt, right? But that was a fumble. I heard a lot. Oh, it wasn't a fumble. Yeah, let the guy take 6 steps after he gets touched. You know what? Down by contact. He touched his ankle. He made another 4 steps and then fell to the ground. But we're going to say down by contact 8 hours ago. Can we stop it? It was a fumble. Clear as day. Deserving to be returned for a touchdown. And that's that, okay? You're right about Sirianni. They go to the charts and graphs, and that's because they have no control sometimes. They don't know what they're doing. That's a head coach. That's a delegator. That's what it is. They rely on Kellen Moore. They rely on Vic Fangio, and he's just there hanging out talking to Big Dom.
I said it, Joe. I told you the Lions were a blue-collar team, and they were going to go into Green Bay and take care of business. They're a blue-collar football team. They can go wherever, and they're not going to need to go wherever because they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, and everyone's going to have to go through Ford Field.
Well, keep an eye out for this, Carver. They might get upset this Sunday night against Houston. Okay, so that's Silver Slipper. No shot. Okay. No shot?
No shot.
Really?
No shot.
No shot. You feel that good? You feel that strong?
No shot. Could be a best bet again. Okay. I might go back to the Lions this week.
Go back to the well. I want you to. No, I want you to.
I might go back to the Lions. They've been good to me. I might go back to them here. Because
that's
are
the type of guy you are. You always go back to your usual suspects. You don't branch out.
The Rams win in Seattle. Yeah. That was a strange game, right? That was a weird game. Gino basically handed the game. All those picks he threw in the end zone on the other side. I mean, one of them returned to the house. Then he throws another one. Looks like Seattle's going to win it, and they don't. And then Stafford takes him down the field. Crazy game. But the Rams, I mean, you pumped this team up, and the Rams they're right there, Joe, in the NFC West now. Right there.
They're worth that 32-1. Where are they to win the NFC right now? Where are they?
Hold on.
Let me see. I'll tell you. 32-1 with Arizona. Hang on, I'll tell you. Don't go nowhere. I got you. I got it right here.
I got you.
Conferences, right?
Conferences.
Yeah.
They are
Arizona.
30. They're still at 30.
Now, a great number.
And I told you Arizona was going to run over the Bears. You said it too. Bears.
I did.
Gutless, finished, done.
Is he done?
And now they're even at.
Is he done?
Oh, he's next. I mean, with Allen and Saleh being fired already this year, this guy is now the undisputed worst coach in the NFL. He had some guys there with him, but now there's no one in his stratosphere, Joe. No one. He's the worst coach in the NFL.
He's going to stick out like a sore thumb. Another defensive wizard, right? All of a sudden, defensive wizard doesn't know what he's doing. Human anchor. He's
You
like
were
a
after
cinder
those
block.
guys, too. You've been after those defensive wizards as well, the head coach. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio. We'll do the Bengal Raven SGP when we come back.
Loser is kind of a mean-spirited slur.
But it doesn't have to stick.
Tell them to listen to Sports Grid and fix it.
No, thank you. Later.
This is the Sports Grid Radio Network. The new Sports Grid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the Sports Grid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the Sports Grid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Carver and Lisi.
And you mentioned, George, run poorly. How many constitute the run poorly aspect? Raiders,
Giants.
Carolina, Cleveland. You have to say it now. I know they were one of the model franchises in football for a very long time. They've been run poorly for 10 years now, the Giants.
How do you let Saquon Barkley go?
Doesn't look very good right now.
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the Sports Grid Radio Network.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. 800-365-6303. That's 800-365-6303.
No way football is played in the fall and winter.
Because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us here on the grid. All right, Joe. Bengals and Ravens starts week 10 on Thursday Night Football. Now, obviously, the Ravens, they took care of business against the Broncos on Sunday. You said it, Joe. Smash job for the Ravens. No sweat whatsoever. Bengals got that win over the Raiders, as I mentioned, the 5 tutties for Burrow. And he's not happy because he knows they need to still get some wins and get some things cooking. 6.5 is the number here, but it's obviously the total that sticks out because usually these Thursday night games, you do not get totals like this. 53.5 for these two teams. Will it live up to that's heavy, Joe. I mean, I hope it goes over because that means we'll hit probably maybe a couple of these props that we're going to play, but that is a big number.
53.5. All right, I have my first pick.
All right, good. You're getting right into it. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson, anytime touchdown, plus 165.
So you think he's getting in, huh? No doubt
Thursday
about
night,
it.
No doubt about it, parlay.
No doubt about it. All right. I could see that. Man, there's so many places you could go here, right? I mean, there's so much you could do for this. I think, Joe, now I'm not sure if they're going to win the game, But I think the Bengals are going to be absolutely in this. And this total tells me that there's going to be some points here. It might not get all the way to 53, but I think you're going to get some big numbers. How about Joey Silk for not one, not two, but 3 touchdown passes? What do you think of 3 touchdown passes for Joey Silk? Plus 265.
3, huh?
3.
All right, yeah, put it in. He's coming
3
off what?
tutties.
He threw for 5. All right.
Threw for 5.
Hopefully
He's got 5 twice this year. Got a bunch of other 4s. He's got a bunch of 3s. He throws a lot of touchdowns. They play wild games. You probably think the Bengals are going to win. I mean, you probably are picking the Bengals to win, I would guess.
lean to the Ravens here. I think the line is begging you to take Cincinnati.
It is.
But-
And you know you got all those Burrow trends. 16-5 as against the spread as an underdog of more than 3 points. They got lots of numbers with Joey Silk out there.
How
Where
about
you going?
Mark Andrews for 70?
70, huh? No likely. Likely's out. 70?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, this is going to be a big one then. So I guess you're picking the Ravens stuff and I'm picking the Bengals stuff. Is that pretty much what this comes down to?
Yeah. Make it a good one. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it, huh? Don't overthink it. Man, they've been getting this Gesicki involved, right? This Gesicki all of a sudden is a big player for them. You want to play Gesicki?
Yeah. Throw a number on it. Go ahead. Touchdown or
let's do
2 less.
Let's do 50 yards.
All right. What's that going to pay?
43.78. 43.78 is a big number.
All right.
You want to do it?
Yeah. We're in.
Lamar anytime. Burrow 3 passing touchdowns. Andrews for 70. Gesicki for 50. That's what we're going with?
Yep.
All right. It's in.
I like it. It's in already
Let's go.
on my end. All right, let's
It's
get it.
already on your end. That's one of the quicker ones we've ever done. So we've been doing them fast lately, Joe. And getting them in quick.
I mean, we've been in the running for these. A couple of times we had some major cash outs because we were starting so fast.
Yeah, the Saint game we did, right? The Saint Bronco game a few weeks ago. We had a pretty good cash out, and we didn't get it. Whoever that hump receiver on the Saints was, that just couldn't. He needed to catch like one more ball, and we would have maybe been in the mix. But he let us down, which was unfortunate. So it sounds like you think the Ravens are going to win the game. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds like you think Ravens. Correct?
Yeah, I do. They're begging you to take that. What do you
The
think?
splits are pretty even. I think I think the Ravens win, but I'm a little bit lean more towards taking the points than you. It sounds like. I think I'd rather have the 6.5. I don't think that Joey Silk's going to get completely blown out in a primetime game against a division rival. I think that they'll be in the game. Total's tricky. I want it to go over, but it's very high. It's very high. The Ravens, I think, have gone over in 8 out of 9 games. They give up a lot too, Joe. They give up a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's not easy,
Let's
Carver.
take the over. Let's take the over.
What? I already
twist
put
your
the
arm
parlay
on the
in.
over. I know you're going to get in. Oh, no, I'm saying on the side. We'll take the over on the side. You're going to get in there with the syndicate on Thursday night, the three of you, and you're going to let Donnie and Kevin talk into the over. You might as well take it now with me. Say I said it first. I said it.
Point guy. I'm in on the total. You can get me in. I mean, that's a huge number, though. I mean, the overtime game was what, 48-45, 51-48? What was it?
Which was that the game they played?
Yeah, when Burrow
earlier
threw
this
for
year?
392. Yeah.
That was 30. Sorry, Joe. Where did that go? 41-38 was that game in Cincinnati. The overtime game. 41-38.
He threw for 392 that game.
How many tutties?
5.
How many games has he thrown for 3 or more?
Did he throw for 3 against Kansas City? I'd say he threw for 3 against Washington.
Actually, only 3 times this year, but 2 of them are 5s. The Baltimore game and the Raider game. He had 3 against Washington. And then he's got a bunch of 2s. I still like the 3, Joe. I like the 3. I think we can get there. And that boosted us up, too. We need something that boosts it up. And that boosted it up for us.
Got it. There you go. I have no problem with that. Okay? We're in. We're in like Flynn in this game.
You want to...
this is it.
What's a game? I only got like 30 seconds here. I got a feeling you're going to take the Patriots in the 6.5 in Chicago against the Bears. I could see you back in Drake May. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to be a Drake May guy because he's playing the Bears.
That game is ugly.
That is an ugly game. I don't really want much part of it. No part of that game, huh, Joe? No part of that game. All right, we'll come back. I want to get your thoughts on Dallas-Philly now that Dak's out and Cooper Rush is going to be playing. Washington and Pittsburgh, big game as well. So we have a few other games to dive into. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Yeah, it's getting cooler. Football weather is here. Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
Even without Hutch, they're winning without their best defensive player. Everyone else has stepped up. Everyone keeps saying they need to do a deal. I'm not sure they need it. They're going to be playing playoff games at Ford Field. They're not going to have to go to Lambeau in January elements. It's going to be their house, their way, because they're the best team in the NFC.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi. Then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
We'll show you what local fans think of Browns owner Art Modell, who could be called public enemy number 1.
In a shocking move in 1995, Art Modell officially announces the Cleveland Browns are moving to Baltimore.
It hurts. The guys ripped my heart out.
This has been a very, very tough road for my family and for me, and leave my heart, a good part of my heart and soul there.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Here with you. All right, Joe, no Dak now for the Cowboys. They got all kinds of problems. They traded a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Domingo, H.O. baby, from Carolina. So Cooper Rush is going to start. Sounds like Micah Parsons, maybe. He was limited today. At least he's back on the field. CeeDee Lamb's got a shoulder problem. They're 3-5 now. They have the Eagles coming in. Feels like the Cowboy season, Joe, is sliding away here. This is a big number with a touchdown. 7 for the Eagles.
I'm going to take it with Cooper Rush. He's proved that he could step up in a backup role. Divisional game, ugly. Give me Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss, huh? Dave Canales.
Mingo, H.O. baby. The Mingo.
Mingo. So this game goes under. Obviously, Dallas will be in it. How, as an organization, can you decide to start Trey Lance possibly in this game? The guy throws 5 picks in a preseason game. You want to roll this guy out on the center against a quarterback in Cooper Rush that at least stepped up a couple of years ago and battled in the same similar role? At least the guy's got heart. I just don't understand. What does Trey Lance give you? Come on, this team is gutless. Can't run the football. They're terrible. Terrible. I sound like Barkley.
They are.
Terrible.
They are terrible. Terrible. They're terrible with them. Cooper Rush, 5-1 as the Cowboys starter.
He's like Teddy Bridgewater back in the day. Steady Eddie Teddy. Steady Teddy. That's all he does is cover numbers.
He's like Teddy Bridgewater back in the day.
Well, remember Bridgewater when he was taking over for Drew Brees, 5-0 against the number for the Saints? He's a covering machine. Steady Eddie Teddy.
I know you're a big Jaden Daniels fan, but do you think he finally faces a defense this week that's going to give him some problems with the pass rush with the Steelers? No.
Carver, let me just tell you this right now. Who put Jaden Daniels on the map? Who put him on the map? I should be an agent. I should be a scout. I should be an evaluator of talent because obviously my picks are much better than some of the garbage picks these GMs are making. They have a shot to beat the Steelers. Why can't they beat the Steelers? All of a sudden now the Steelers are world beaters because they beat the Jets and Giants. Can we call it what
Everyone's
it is?
All-American. Everyone's All-American.
Let Russ cook. Yeah, MVP. Donnie's out there. Oh, yeah, this, that, the other thing. Look at him stretch the field. Come on. Now you got Mike Williams. Guaranteed Mike Williams, 6 catches, 100 yards, no matter what.
Well, the Jets didn't, Aaron didn't like him, so he wasn't part of the plan. I mean, that's it. He's not
wasn't part of the inner circle.
Garrett Wilson.
It wasn't part of the inner circle. Right. He wasn't breaking, they weren't doing psychedelics in, the cave, What does he have?
That gets you chopped. If you're not part of the inner circle, that gets you chopped with Aaron. For sure enough.
Right.
I hope he plays great for the Steelers.
Aaron's the coach. I feel bad for Ulbrich and everybody else. Right? Big bad Aaron. Don't worry. He'll tell you how. They get one game and all of a sudden now they're Big bad Aaron.
Big bad Aaron.
See now, did you see him like he was like acting like he won his 2nd Super Bowl, beating the Texans on Thursday night. Like, relax, guy.
What about them being a 1.5 favorite in Arizona? Jets are a 1.5 favorite in Arizona.
Yeah, good. They're a buzzsaw. That team is going to buzzsaw the New York Jets. I will say maybe the total is live, 46.5. Arizona is a team that trends to the under, Carver.
45.5 now. 45.5. Down a point.
Even better. I think I might like that.
So you want to go after it. You want to go up, and away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Going after the total?
I think I do. Yes. Want to go up, and away. What do you think about that?
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Why?
That's what you want to do. I don't have any problem with that. You want to go after it, we can go after it. I could see some points in that game.
Okay.
I guess the Niners going to get McCaffrey back this week.
Yeah, is he going to be 100%?
This is the week the Niners are going to turn the corner and take over the NFC West. It'll be this week. Out of the bye, McCaffrey back. You're getting a Buck team that just had a tough loss. They're gonna start to turn the corner and take over the NFC
so
West.
Then you're going to lay the 5.5. I'm going to take the 5.5. I believe you made me a believer in Baker Mayfield, and now you want to sell the guy out. You're a turncoat.
I never said I was laying the 5.5. I said the Niners are going to win the game.
Okay. Got it all figured out.
I'm saying big picture. Out of the bye, getting McCaffrey back, I think they're going to start to take control of the division. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to cover 5.5.
I think the Rams are going to win it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think the Rams.
Okay, well there you go.
Rams Monday night this week, huh? Rams Fish.
Yeah.
Monday night.
That's the total we should go for.
50.5. Up and away, huh?
Yeah.
Up and away. Why not? Looks like Golden State's going to win in Boston, Joe. 2.5 left. There's still time left in this game. They're only down 5. I thought there was like a minute left. There's 2.5 left. There's plenty of time for Boston here. This Tatum.
All right.
Now it's a 3. Now it's going to be a 2-point game. I'm going to give him a 3-point play here. And then 1 for Tatum. And you've already told me that you like the Texans as home dogs on Sunday night against the Lions.
I do.
Smash City. That sounds like a best bet to me. Sounds like Friday night you'll be picking the Texans.
Oh,
I told you. I think the Lions could be a best bet for me. I think that we might be heads up in that.
I like it. We might be.
So I think that we might be heads up on a few games this week. Afterwards. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM 159. We're back after this.
Luck is winning the lottery. Strategy is settling your divorce before cashing in the ticket. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic medical finger that can be used clinically to check your pulse, perform examinations, and even check for abnormalities under the skin. This robotic finger could even type like a human hand, spelling out words.
Goosebumps.
The goal? An intelligent, dexterous hand attached to a sensorized, artificial, pneumatic, muscle-driven robotic arm, mimicking the unparalleled functions and fine manipulations currently only possible with actual human hands. Follow me at G Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
Paid for by Steel Man Pills. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. That's 800-823-3851.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi with you, Sports Grid Radio. Sirius XM, channel 159 here on the grid. All right, Joe. So Friday night, of course, we will do all the picks, everything else. Now Golden State up 111-104 with under a minute to go. So it's very rare, Joe, that teams go into Boston and beat the Celtics. And the Warriors, who are now going to get out to see if I got this right, Joe. Where are the Warriors now this year after they win that game? I think they're 6-1 or 7-1 after this win. The Warriors will be 7-1 now after this win. That's a great win by them going into Boston and getting the job done. Curry with 27. He only hit 4 threes, though, so Joe would have been upset with that. Only 4 threes. He only plays 7 threes, like 8 threes, 9 threes.
When's he going to have that performance? 56 points, you know. You could
he just came back this week. He missed a bunch of games. They're 7-1. He missed like 5 or 6 games.
I mean, so what? So this guy could shoot from the rafters and put it in a three ball.
Getting old, Joe. He's 36 now.
Closed.
36.
So you lose your shot. Did Larry Bird and all did Glenn Rice lose his shot late in his career? Come on. Glenn Rice. Huh? Who was one of the purest sharpshooters?
Lakers getting trounced in Memphis.
Did Detlef Schrempf lose his mojo after, with Seattle, the Supersonics? Detlef. Oh, wait, there it is.
Detlef Schrempf. 9:56, like always, for Joe.
I'm not paying attention.
9:56.
It's on the delay for I can't help it. I don't know what it is. I lose track.
It is amazing that it's at the same time every single show.
It's probably on a 2-hour delay. That's why.
That's probably what it is. I would guess that it's probably on a 2-hour delay. You're right about that, Joe.
Hot camera. No Jordy.
So what do you got now here? Obviously, you'll be with the Syndicate Thursday night for the Bengals and the Ravens. Be back with me on Friday night, and we'll do the picks, the college and the pro. Saturday, college football today. Sunday, pro football today.
And then
Monday night Syndicate for Dolphins, Rams. Yeah. That's your next week. I'm sure we got a Bowden Blitz this week too, right? Bowden Blitz.
Just taped it today.
You can catch that now on the TV side, at least this week, before Coast to Coast on Fridays at 3:00 East. So
what do you mean at least this week? You know something I don't.
I don't know if it's every week. I haven't been told that yet. I know that this week it's happening. So happened last week, happened this week. I have no idea. I don't want to give any bad information that it's for good. I don't know that. So I know that this week,
you know more
Friday,
than me. So it does play the Bowden Blitz.
That's probably not possible, but
it does play on 8 to 9 prior to college football today. Both episodes. The ACC
is that right?
and SEC. Yes.
Wow, I see. Now that's you talk about not knowing thing. I didn't know that, Joe. Good for you.
Yeah, played last week. So the Bowden Blitz is Friday, at least this week, and then Saturday 8 to 9. We break down the biggest games, get coach's take, and I think it's good. Coach, everybody wants the coach's perspective. Coach coached at Auburn, Akron, North Alabama, and obviously UL Monroe. So, we get his take on a bunch of topics.
Coach always mixes
He's my guy.
Up. He mixes it up with
my guy.
That's your guy, Coach. Coach there. So there you go. We're ready to go now for this week. I got to put the final picks in for the golf, Joe. In fact, I did finalize all the entire card right before we finished up. First round leaders: Eric Van Rooyen 50-1, Fishburne 55-1, Lauer 60-1, Cameron Champ 70-1, Smotherman 100-1, and the Commissioner Will Gordon 120-1 for the first round leaders.
What about some of the favorites? Any of the favorites we like or no? The guys like 30-1 or less or no?
I'm taking outright for the tournament Hostler at 25 and Glover at 30. I'm taking
Billy Ho?
No Billy Ho. I said Bo Hostler. Big
Bo
Bo Hostler.
All right, Billy
And then
Horschel.
Lucas
You
Glover
scared
at
me
30.
All right.
Joe, great job as always. Great job by Matthias Gravel. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio. Cash some tickets. We'll see you Friday night back here on the grid.